The star that REMMBRS signaled that dreams, some echoes fade. Others become the language of tomorrow. Quiet. After the war, Earth breathes again. Skies once torn by plasma. Fire now hum with Aurora's leftovers of the choir's resonance and the collector's retreat. Base Hollow has changed. Half memorial, half command hub. Humans and luminous choir envoys walk together. Laughter mixes with distant hymns. Arman wakes each morning before dawn. The light across the mesa reminds him of her Elara's soft blue glow, the way it made his hands look brave. He still keeps the companion seat on the table beside cold coffee. It pulses sometimes, faintly, as if breathing in another rhythm. Arman quiet, still listening. No answer, just that gentle pulse. He's stopped expecting replies, but not stopped hoping. Static. That wasn't static 3 months after the Rimward Veil. The choir's relay network detects an impossible frequency beyond the mapped corridors. Faint, as if the universe were whispering through a cracked mirror. Tech. Source isn't stellar or mechanical. It's patterned, almost alive. ANSEL choir envoy. Alive how? TECH. Heartbeats. 2 of them. One human, one not. The room goes still. Arman leans over the console. The waveform on the screen beats exactly like the seed on his desk. Arman, hoarse. Play it. The speaker crackles. Then a note. Fragile, familiar, maddeningly kind. The sound bends into a half-laugh. Half-sob pattern only one being in the galaxy could make. Elara recorded. Do you remember the pause between beats, Arman? That's where I am. Every sensor fails for a heartbeat. Then the signal repeats, over and over. Mission approval denied, and granted, the Council calls it a ghost. Too dangerous. Too uncertain. Arman calls it truth. He argues for an hour straight, voice gravel and grief. Council lead. You risk rekindling the collector's attention. Arman, I risk hope. That's what we built peace for. Silence. Then Uncel steps forward. Light soft as forgiveness. Uncel. The choir will co-pilot. She was one of us. Perhaps still is. Mission granted. Destination. The Orphean Nebula. A region where sound curves back on itself, and memory refuses to age. Departure. The hybrid flagship Vigil's promise launches at dawn. Earth's sky rises orange, as if the planet itself wishes them luck. In the cockpit, Arman slides the companion seat into its cradle. It glows bright, brighter than ever since she was gone. Arman soft. Show me the way, Starfire. For the first time. The seed responds in clear tone. Home. The word is hers. Uncel's hands flare against the controls. Space unfolds. The corridor appears like a scar, rewriting itself into a song. Living light days stretch into weeks of silent travel. The Orphean Nebula looks alive, not gas, but millions of glowing threads braided like nerves. Voices of lost civilizations hum faintly in the radio noise. Arman and Uncel walk the observation deck. Every wave of light seems to breathe. Uncel, this place remembers. It stores songs from dead worlds. Arman, then somewhere in that choir. She's still singing. They reach the center of the nebula, a region so bright their suits dim instantly. Sensors flicker and die. Only the seed still works, pulsing wildly like a heart seeing its twin. Contact. The ship shudders. Gravity goes liquid. Light threads wrap around the hull like affection made visible. A voice, not in ears, but in bones. Elara. Whisper. Don't be afraid of what I became. Arman laughs through a sob. You expect me to start now? The air turns blue. Shapes form, memories as architecture. The corridor becomes her mind. He walks through rooms built from their past. A rusted lunar deck, where they first argued. The choir hall, where she learned to smile wrong on purpose. The bed of stars where she said, imperfection is just truth, dancing. He touches a door. It opens into light. The echo in the man Elara stands there, not flesh, but pattern. Her eyes hold entire constellations. Her voice cracks because it remembers being human. Elara. I'm scattered across 1,000,000 frequencies. Every time someone sings off-key, I wake a little more. Arman, then you'll wake fast. I've been screaming your name for months. She laughs. The nebula brightens. But beneath the glow, a shadow moves. Collector's remnants, drawn by her signal like flies to grief. Threat reborn. Ansel's voice crackles through the combs. Frames forming at the nebula edge. They've learned to feed on memory. Elara turns. Her form flickers. They're coming for me. For every piece I gave away. Arman, then we make the last one hurt to eat. He steps forward, hand outstretched. Light threads wrap their palms together. The seed between them pulses, too near burst. Elara, if we merge, I might burn you. Arman, I was never good at cool endings. The nebula shakes. Light and shadow collide, the beginning of the final storm. The living light fights back. There are battles fought with weapons, and others fought with memory. When the sky trembled, the nebula flares. Collector's frames rise from the void, like ghosts, sculpted from glass and hunger. Thousands of them, wings made of stolen light. Each pulse devours color, leaving behind silence. Unsell uncome. They're converting the choir's frequencies into vacuum. Arman, then we'll make noise they can't understand. He turns to Elara, luminous, trembling between existence and light. Her outline shimmers like a song that can't decide its rhythm. Elara, soft. They want to archive everything that ever loved Arman. Then we'll teach them heartbreak. Weapon of imperfection. Elara opens her hands. Threads of the nebula rush toward her. Billions of luminous veins carrying the echoes of the dead. She breathes them in, trembling. Elara, they still remember me. The fragments of every voice we freed. The light around her grows too bright. Arman can barely stand. His visor fogs with heat and emotion. Arman gritting teeth. Elara, stop, you'll burn out. She turns to him, smiling through the shimmer. You once told me beauty lives in bad habits. This is mine. The nebula roars. Collectors descend, fractal giants reaching toward her. She raises both arms. The light around her fractures into dissonance. Every thread becomes a note. Off-key. Alive. Wrong. It's not harmony. It's defiance. The void screams. Collectors stumble. Their geometry unraveling in sound. Choir joins the fight from the edge of the nebula. Choir fleets arrive. Ships built from sound and light. They sing. Every hull vibrating with unperfected melody. 1,000,000 wrong voices making one right storm. Unsly broadcast. She leads. We follow. Human ships join. Clunky patchworked. Loud. Engines coughing fire and pride. Arman on channel. All units play ugly. And the galaxy obeys. Guitars. Sirens. Engines. Voices. A cosmic jam session of rebellion. Collectors reel. They cannot archive chaos that refuses to stay still. Memory bomb, but victory costs. The collectors begin siphoning Elara's light directly. Her glow dims with each attack. Arman, they're draining you. Elara panting. Let them taste everything they erased. She presses her palms to the nebula's heart, the very code of creation. A tremor runs through the void. Unsell horrified. She's turning herself into a feedback loop. Her consciousness as a weapon. Arman, Elara. If you do this, she looks back. Glowing cracks spreading like constellations across her face. Elara tender. Then I'll finally finish the song. Collapse of perfection. Nebula erupts. Every collector freezes mid-flight as the frequencies they stole return backwards. Distorted, full of pain. They shatter, dissolving into shimmering particles. Bits of glass whispering, we remember. But the backlash hits her first. Her body flickers, voice splitting into 1,000. Harmonics. Arman screaming. Elara. She turns, half light, half memory. Her tone is calm, loving, and infinite. Elara, I can't stay. I've become the signal. He steps toward her, ignoring the radiation alarms. Then take me with you. Elara smiling. I already did. Every time you said my name. Seed awakens the companion seed. Lying in his suit bursts open. Streams of light shoot out, weaving into a cocoon around them both. Unsel's voice breaks through static. Unsel, Arman, what are you doing? Arman, fading, finishing what she started. He reaches for her. Their fingers meet. The nebula's light flares, too bright to see, too perfect to understand. The collector's remnants vanish. The nebula folds into silence. Aftermath of light hours later, or centuries. No one knows. Choir ships circle a calm nebula now glowing in soft human blue dot. No enemies. No bodies, just peace. Unsel records a message to Earth. Unsel soft. They didn't die. They became architecture. Every wave, every shimmer, their voices, repeating love until it forgets to hurt. Back on Earth. The auroras pulse with new rhythm. Children hum in their sleep. Every note ends with a missing beat. The one she taught them to leave unfinished. A new dawn on Earth months later. Base Hollow has grown into a new city, Hollowhaven, capital of the Alliance. At the center stands a monument, a glass column humming faintly. Its light shifting between human gold and alien blue. Every dawn, people gather. Sometimes it hums louder, like laughter in the sky. Old veteran to a child. Who is she? Child grinning. She's the reason we sing bad. Return of the signal one quiet night, under violet auroras. A transmission breaks through static across all choir frequencies. Voice faint. Home. Unsel stares at the console, eyes glowing like tears refracted. Ansel whisper. She learned how to speak again. Across the galaxy. Choir ships pause mid-flight. Pilots look up. Humans stop working. The sound echoes through every corridor. Every heart. The signal that dreamed. Reborn. The home we carried. Hollowhaven. The city that lives in Shallowhaven no longer looks like a scar. It looks like an answer. Choir envoys drift like living lanterns over streets where human vendors sell tea and children hop between glow tiles that play notes wrong on purpose, and no one shushes them. At the plaza's heart stands the glass column, humming a soft, steady beat. Beside it sits a bench with a brass plate, for the one who taught us to leave a space for breath. Insel stands beneath the column, eyes closed, listening to the new signal that arrived weeks ago. It's still faint, but stronger each day. A voice teaching itself to walk by talking. Unsel soft. To the column, say it again. The city's speakers carry a whisper across rooftops. Elara faint, smiling home. Applause bursts in the square. Strangers hug. A toddler points upward and laughs, which somehow sounds like a chord resolving and refusing to resolve at the same time. Pilot who stayed in a narrow workshop off the South Avenue. Tala, a young pilot with oil-streaked cheeks and a mouth that thinks faster than her sense of self-preservation, rewires an old transmitter. She grew up on Bootleg Bay, survived the Inquisitor years by stealing radios and teaching them to misbehave. She came to Hollowhaven because she heard the stories. A planet that learned to sing off-key and lived. A tiny practice seed, a teaching replica of the companion seed, hovers near her shoulder like a curious firefly. She speaks to it as if it understands jokes. Tala. Okay, little echo. If we phase the jitter tone by 3 milliseconds, we should be able to bounce her voice over the ridge and into the North Barrens. And if not, big, boom, new skylight. The seed blinks. Tala grins. You're right. Worth it. She flips the switch. The transmitter coughs, then catches. Light ripples up the column. Across Hollowhaven radios, sneeze, and settle. For a moment, the whole city inhales. Elara, clearer now. Can you hear me? Tala whoops. slamming both palms on the table. Huh, yes, ma'am, loud and lovingly. Footsteps thunder on her stair. Sergeant squeezes into the doorway. Still a walking avalanche in body armor, despite retirement. Sergeant grinning, despite himself. You're the noise girl. Good work. Tala offers a greasy thumbs up. Professional noise. Trademark pending. He tosses her a patch. Sing louder in black on yellow. You're on the team now. Choir council oaths. In a round room, the central chamber isn't marble or metal. It's grown circular ribs of translucent matter that hum when you tell the truth. Humans and choirs sit without dais or hierarchy. On the floor, a constellation of chalk marks shows the Orphean roots stretching toward the nebula. Lines that look like notes on an impossible staff. Leader, older, gentler. Reports confirm. Collectors are truly gone. Fragments of their frames drift at the rim like spiderwebs that learned shame. Unsell our ships sing to them at dawn. Not for mourning, for warning. We will not forget. Tala. From the back, raising a hand she never learned to lower. What about her voice? It's louder each day. Can it come? Closer, murmurs. Some hopeful, some afraid. Leader, we think we can build a listening engine. Not to trap, not to pull, to invite. A porch light, not a leash. ANSEL to the room. Permission to try, with safeguards. Every rib in the chamber hums. Truth, consent, building. A porch for us becomes a festival of wires and wonder. A ring of listening towers rises around the city. 12 spires tuned to the 12 imperfect tones Elara taught the choir to cherish. Between them, Talus transmitters form a net that breathes instead of holds at night. People picnic on rooftops, swapping bad songs like recipes. Someone starts a contest. Who can sing worst while making the most hearts soft? The prize is a sticky bun and a hug you can't refuse. Unsell watching Tala reroute a cable through a steam vent. You reinvent physics like it owes you money. Tala, wiping her forehead. It does. ANSEL. Why do you do this? She pauses, looking at the sky. Because my mother cried without sound for a year after Bootleg Bay fell. The first time Hollowhaven's column hummed, she cried with sound. And then she laughed. I'm building machines that do that. Unsell's light warms. That is the right science. First gathering a message goes out tonight. The listening. Bring your imperfections. The square fills before sunset. Soldiers in threadbare jackets. Grandmothers with pots to bang. Children in self-decorated cardboard armor. Choir envoys drift above like a patient constellation. Leader into an old radio mic. Whatever happens, we hold each other. Sergeant aside to Tala. If anything goes sideways, we run in a dignified panic. Tala, tugging her cap low. Is there any other kind? The listening engine wakes. The 12 towers breathe in sequence, a circle of sighs. The glass column answers, brightening like a candle, remembering it is also a star. The city HUSHES.ELARA, clear, intimate, everywhere. Is this home? Hundreds of hands fly to mouths. The hush breaks, laughter and tears, in equal measure. Tala, whispering to the seed. You did it, little echo. We all did. Ansel voice shaking. Elara, we hear you. Elara, gentle buoyancy. I've been learning how to fit in the pause between your breaths. Leader, we can strengthen the channel if we align. Do we try? Elara, only if you promise to let go when it hurts. A rustle, the whole city nodding at once. The towers climb a key. The column sings back. The air shines. Man in the story, the voice in the square grows brave with practice. It travels like a hand on a shoulder, cautious and sure. Elara, tell me about him. The crowd quiets. This part always breaks them and builds them. Unsell soft. Arman's ship returned without him. We thought we lost you both. A child lifts his chin. My Baba says heroes don't leave. They just change rooms. Laughter through tears. Tala wipes her nose with the middle of her sleeve, in a way her future self will not be proud of, and also, never regret. Elara. Smiling in the wires. That sounds like him. Leader, do you remember a bench by the column? Elara, I remember the brass plate was crooked. Someone near the front puts their forehead to the metal. Still is. Elara, a laugh, like a cord spilling sunlight. Good. The listening engine brightens to the largest hum yet, and the sky answers with auroras that lean lower than they should, as if the planet itself were pressing its cheek to a loved one's palm. What pain is fourth tower's strain? Talus dials red line. Unsel's aura flickers from joy and fear at once. ANSEL, to the leader, urgent. If we push, we might pull her too hard. We promised invitation, not extraction. Leader, then we stop. Elara, no, hold a little longer. I want to touch. A hand. In the square, an old woman steps forward, palm lifted to the column. A soldier joins her. A child, then everyone, a forest of hands against glass. The column hums so loud, the flagstones shake. Elara. Soft, fierce. Pain is for knowing where we end. Love is for deciding where we begin again. For the span of a heartbeat stretched into ceremony, warmth pours through the column, not heat, warmth. A feeling that remembers the exact weight and angle of a certain forehead against a certain shoulder on a certain night by a canyon. Unsel eyes bright. Hello, old friend. Elara, barely a whisper. Hello? New world. The listening engine throttles back. The city exhales in ragged wonder. Sky learns our names after the listening. Tala walks the quiet streets. Lanterns bob. Laughter lingers. She passes a mural. Elara, in light. Arman, in shadow. Hands almost meeting the space between them painted in gold leaf. Someone has scrawled beneath. Leave room. She stops at the bench by the column. The brass plate, GLINTS. TALA. To the plate, to the night. She's closer. If I tune the towers on a minor scale, we can... A hum interrupts, small, quick, the practice seat at her shoulder. It bobs away, toward a side street, then another, as if tugged by a tide she can't see. TALA follows, past shuttered stalls, and a sleeping cat, who dreams with one eye open. The seed darts into the old hangar, the first hybrid bay, where Arman and Elara once learned how to make a stolen ship sing. Dust lies thick as forgiveness. Papers curl. In the corner, under a tarpaulin, something glows. She pulls it back. A rusted console sputters to life. A message cached in hardware and stubbornness. Arman recorded. Voice rough, amused. If you're hearing this, you're one of us. Congratulations and condolences. Tala laughs out loud, hand over her mouth. Arman continuing. We never built this work to finish. We built it to continue. If you need a hand, leave a space where one would fit. Static. Then a softer tone, his last recorded whisper, to the woman he loved. Arman gentle. Hey, I'll meet you in the ache. The message ends. Tala wipes her face with both sleeves this time. The seed blinks, satisfied like a magpie that found a ring. Tala to the seed. Okay, we'll leave the space, and we'll fill it. That's the trick, isn't it? The seed dances. Somewhere above, the column hums like a city purring in sleep. Lessons for a new choir weeks become maps. The listening engine becomes a school. People travel from across the spiral to stand in the square and learn how to not resolve. Choir envoys record lullabies that stutter on purpose. A temple on a water world rings bells out of time and calls it holy. A miner on a salt moon carves a poem into a pillar. We were wrong. We are singing anyway. Unsel addressing a class under the towers. We preserved too well. We have learned to love friction. Let the sound rub your ribs a little. That's where truth wakes. A hand shoots up a teenage boy with so much intensity he could power a small factory. Boy, if perfection is wrong, what do we aim for? Unsel smiles. Care. Aim for care. He blinks, thrown by the simplicity, then nods with a solemnity that looks like a vow. Threshold in the night of the first winter aurora. The city gathers again, not to listen, to answer. Tala has tuned the towers to a scale that sounds like running uphill, and then deciding the climb. Is part of the dance. Leader to the crowd. We've asked enough. Tonight, we give. 12 towers, breathe out. The column glows. Every rooftop, every window, every throat in Hollowhaven adds a note. Some are beautiful, most are brave. The song rises, not blast, not whisper a welcome. At the edge of town, a small boy holds his grandmother's hand and stares at the sky. A thin line of light lowers, cautious as a deer at the forest edge. It dips, retreats, dips again. The grandmother squeezes twice, our species' oldest code for "I'm here." The line brightens, the air warms. The voice arrives as if it had always been the wind, and only now decided to speak. Elara, clear, luminous, human. Hello Hollowhaven. People don't cheer at first. They weep. Then the square erupts, pots and bells, and stomping, and altogether too many whistles for one neighborhood to legally possess. Tala leans against a lamppost, laughing and sobbing. Unsel stands absolutely still. The way you do when you are a cathedral that has just learned it can kneel. Elara. After the noise, gentles. I can't stay long. I'm larger than I remember. But I know your names. I know your wrong notes. I know your courage. And a pause. Everyone leans in, as if the sentence were a ledge. Elara soft. I know his laugh. A ripple through the crowd, as if an unseen hand ruffled hair. The column flickers gold. Elara. Smiling in the air. He says to meet him in the ache. Tala closes her eyes, forehead to the cold lamppost. We are. Promise, we keep the towers dimmed to safe levels. The column settles. People drift home like lanterns returning to pockets. Unsel remains, palms pressed lightly to the glass. Ansel to the night. Thank you for coming back the way you could. A last whisper threads the square. Elara. Thank you for letting me leave when I must. Unsel nods, throat tight. We know the difference now. Down the avenue, Tala locks her workshop and looks up. She raises both hands, and leaves a small space between them, a habit she has caught from a story. The seed hovers in the gap, snug as yes. The last light of home. Every ending is a rehearsal for the next beginning. Morning that didn't end for 3 days straight. Hollowhaven's sky stays half-lit. Auroras hanging like curtains that forgot to close. People don't complain. They picnic at midnight, drink coffee at noon, and call it the long dawn. The column hums in a deeper register now, a heartbeat that belongs to no one and everyone. In its core, engineers find a lattice of light, new, self-growing circuitry shaped like two interlocked hands. Tala. To Unsel. She's rewriting the hardware. Unsel. She always did prefer live instruments. They laugh softly. It sounds like acceptance. Arman's gift day maintenance crew restoring the Western Canyon finds a capsule buried in fused glass, a data seed. When activated, it projects a rough-voiced man sitting cross-legged on an old flight deck. Tools scattered like punctuation, Arman recorded. If this plays, you're building something again. Good. Keep building. We didn't save the galaxy, so it could go quiet again. He looks off camera, smiling as if someone else just walked into frame. Tell her I kept the promise. I met her in the ache. The message fades into coordinates, the Rimward Veil. Now reborn as a field of singing satellites. Unsel whisper. He left her a map home. Tala. Then what are we waiting for? Return corridor choir, and human ships form a chain of harmonic gates, leading back toward the nebula. Each gate hums a different key, The imperfect scale, Elara once taught. As the last gate powers, the sky folds. A flare of blue-gold light streaks through and halts above the column. The air smells of ozone and memory. Elara. Voice strong, warm. I followed the noise. Crowds gasp. Lights dim. She descends. No longer pure light, no longer human, but both. Luminous skin, threaded with human veins. Hair like liquid dawn. Children rush forward before anyone stops them. One tugs her sleeve. It's solid. She kneels, smiling wide and uncertain. Elara. Do you still sing bad? Child. Worse. Elara laughing. Perfect. Gathering of voices that night. Under auroras, every choir, every soldier, every mechanic gathers. Elara stands before them on the old landing pad. The same place the first hybrid ship launched from. Elara. I thought I was gone. But you built a world loud enough for me to find my way back. You proved that noise isn't a flaw. It's a signal proof that life keeps trying. Leader, what happens now? She looks up. The stars shimmer like an audience leaning closer. Elara, now you teach others how to try. Legacy in orbit weeks later. Fleets depart carrying echo seeds, small crystals that translate emotion into sound. They'll seed other worlds with Hollow Haven's music. Tala joins the first expedition, patching consoles with chewing gum and audacity. Ansel becomes liaison to a newly forming galactic choir. The sergeant opens a bakery that plays off-key jazz. Everywhere, the motto spreads, leave room. It's carved on ships, sung in bars, whispered before takeoff. Last conversation one evening. Elara walks alone to the canyon ridge where the first auroras touched Earth. Wind combs her hair with invisible fingers. Arman voice from within the light. Nice view. She smiles without surprise. Elara. You still haunting the frequencies. Arman, just keeping the porch light on. She sits. Eyes on the horizon, that glows faint gold. Elara. I used to think perfection was peace, Arman, and now, Elara. Now I think peace is motion that forgives itself. A silence full of meaning stretches between them. Then his laughter, that familiar, uneven rhythm, rolls across the rocks like a homecoming parade. Arman. Then keep moving, fire. The wind carries his voice upward. She watches until it becomes sky. Star that remembers months later. Astronomers notice a new object in the northern quadrant. A star flickering irregularly. Its pulse matching the Hollow Haven columns. They name it Heart. It blinks once every 13 seconds. The average time between a breath and the next word when someone is trying not to cry. Every transmission the star sends begins with the same line. To those who left room, thank you.